you were like, I bet you can't nose grind over that rail. And I was like, okay, deal. And then I made it and you had your wallet in your pocket. And I was like, who has their wallet in their pocket in the fucking final? Like, and it wasn't a shit wallet. It was like a fucking credit card.
That's so funny. People used to give me shit about that.
The amount of...
The one that I got... Oh, I think it was like...
It looks like a shark attack.
What's that? The one that I got from... God! That is right here. That's from Germiston.
Yeah.
Are we happy?
Hey, it's Tony Hawk.
Oh, I might. Just might.
I love how I'm this much louder than...
You are. You are that much louder.
I'm just... When you... It's more... It's way more apparent when somebody does... Oh, yeah, that... When someone sees Jason... Oh, mate!
You are an Australian guy.
Yeah. Well, look...
It's me.
I needed
all I got.
I needed some attention.
It's all I got.
I needed some attention, I guess. Thanks, Mom and Dad. Now I'm extra loud.
We got attention. We're doing our show. What's up, everyone?
Yeah. Welcome to Hawk versus Wolf again.
Again. We're still doing this.
Yeah, we're great.
You haven't gotten sick of it. We haven't gotten sick. No, I'm saying like you people watching.
I feel like they like it.
I think so.
No one has said, hey man, enough of that podcast with Tony Hawk. Like, oh no, not again. Mondays are the worst. Like, no one said that. Not one.
Do I have to sit through it again? Cool. Thanks.
Man, I did an interview with Nikki Glaser the other day, and she's a very funny, very talented, world famous comedian.
Super funny.
Right. I personally felt like as a guest, she was the funniest guest I've ever had. I felt like an hour and 20 minutes where I was like, man, I can barely get a word in, and I don't really need to. This chick is flying.
Yeah.
Someone says when I post it, oh, there goes Nikki Glaser talking about coming again. I'm like, okay, she talked about orgasms on the show, but I think she talks about pretty much everything in her life, especially when you start interviewing her. That's something that I can relate to.
But also, you have a brand of comedy. You can sort of stay in that lane for the most part. Because they expect it from you.
See, I immediately felt better because as an insecure guy, when people say, oh, there he goes talking about, the things I talk about, because I'm very repetitive, it made me feel better about the hate that's been pointed at me. Because I'm like, some people are like, man, enough with the gay, I get it. And I'm like, I'm not so much doing it for me anymore. I'm doing it for the young people out there that think that you don't like them. And if I have to lose a follower or a fan, so be it. It's a fair trade for me. It hurts, but it's a fair trade. When someone says it, oh no, with the talk, and I can't help it. I go.
I feel like you're going deep into the comment vortex.
I should probably.
You live there.
I want to say no, Tony, not at all.
When our show drops on Mondays, I start reading them, and then like pretty immediately, because usually it's people that are excited that it's happening.
Yep.
And then as it starts to permeate, then you get obviously some of the more criticisms. But then I kind of just after a while I'm like, all right, I got a general vibe for what people are feeling for this. I'm good.
Okay, well, I think at one point.
But I've learned that from years of doing social media stuff.
I'm glad you said that because at one point, our friend Will Pendarvis explained to me, Jason, I know that you're trying to get a feel for the fans, but it's not helping you by watching everything everyone says. And I was like, you know what? You're right. And I started to push away from that.
I feel like you're going into the this comment's been hidden.
Oh, dude, I am.
Oh, let me see it.
I'm gonna seal my face. I answer every DM unless it's like, you're awesome. Okay. But if it's like a question, I answer it. And yes, I'll go all the way into the deepest cuts of, if no one gets out. If you ask me, I know.
No one gets out.
And so I do get, when the SiriusXM thing fell through, I don't know podcasting. What do you want from me, podcast world? The only way I'm going to know is to hear what you're saying. So if you're like, man, we should shut up. And I'm like, man, it's going to be tough to make the show. Like me, shut up's going to be tough. But other things.
Well, but also you don't want to try to sanitize whatever you're putting out so that you please everyone. Because then you have no edge to it.
I mean,
no power to it.
In the end, I don't have I think that me thinking that whatever you would like me to do, how I don't understand how I ever took offense to that or was triggered in any way. Even if it was like my mum asking me to change the show in a particular way,
Yeah.
within 15 minutes, the show's going to be what the show is. I have no control over my mouth. It just, I mean, I have a little bit of control, but like what we're going to talk about today, I thought of a couple of things to ask you today so we didn't talk about skateboarding all the time.
Oh, that's cool. But I feel like there are other people that tune in because they want to hear skateboarding deep cuts. They want to hear.
Here's the other thing. I feel like sometimes when we talk about deep cuts in skateboarding and people that listen don't skateboard, it still works because I've listened to, this is what I'm going to bring up, Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura. That's like my favorite show. They're up my alley. I love Bert, everything he talks about. He's not that smart. He's an alcoholic and he blurts out stuff and he loves to be famous. And Tom's more of a like more together, smarter guy. And I'm like, hey, we're kind of like that, you know.
I was gonna say your hand motions were sending a signal to me.
I'm definitely
here.
the Bert Kreischer of this show.
Okay.
Definitely. I'm like, man, famous people this, famous people that. Like, you think this guy will talk about me if I bring him up? And I'm like, wow, that's something I would say. Like, you desperado. But
I came in with no agenda today,
right?
Because it's been a pretty hectic day for me. So,
right,
this is sort of my break.
I can tell just by
obligation.
this week's when we're gonna record has changed a lot, and I'm like, ooh, he's got.
It's been tricky.
Yep.
It's been tricky. But managing and
we always make.
I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to talk to you, and I'm excited for what you brought to the table because I just brought mostly exhaustion of a parent. that's what I'm bringing.
Oh, you know what I can bring to the table? My sympathy, because I have been there and I got this, brother. I used to do 7 shows a week, and every now and then I remember going, Tully, Kevin, it's not a good day for me.
Yeah.
Just know when the mic gets hot, if you guys want to like
jump in,
do some heavy lifting, I would be much appreciated. Yeah. And they've heard me say that so many times, unfortunately, that they're like, we got you, dude.
Were you saying that on the air?
No, right before the mic's hot.
Because now we're saying it on the air, so it's kind of a different vibe.
It's different. Podcasting, man.
But
you admit you're fine. And look, here's what I brought in my car. I brought some boxing gloves and some Thai pads. And I was like, that's not skateboarding. And maybe you could throw a couple of punches and some kicks or an elbow or something.
Me?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Oh, we're back to that.
You can also not do it. I was trying to bring stuff for the show. I'll go back to the Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura. Okay.
I think, you know what? I think maybe we should do the liquid death challenge. Tape it to your face. Let's see how it goes.
Oh, okay. So I will duct tape a liquid death can right here, and you elbow it and break it open.
Okay.
Really?
Why is that the only thing that's gonna break it open?
Yeah. I think if you punch it, you might hurt your hand.
I was gonna say there is. I just realized I'm setting myself up. There's a chance that I will get hurt doing this, and I have to skate this weekend. The first public demo I'm doing in 2 years is in 4 days.
Well, I'm very stressful about that too. It's the first public skateboarding announcing.
We'll do it next time.
What if I get hurt? What if you hit me so hard in my brain that I can't speak words?
But then you could announce it like, look what Tony did to me.
Oh, right. That's a good idea.
So that would be sick for me. We're going to have to go. We're going to have to do that next time.
Yeah.
Because it's a good chance that I will break my hand or my elbow on your face.
Here's how it would work. I got this. You get the glove, the road racing gloves that have the carbon fiber knuckles.
Yeah. Is that cheating though?
Well, dude, you know what? Fuck everybody. I don't want you to. If a can slices your hand and you get a tendon thing going, you will be so ruined. It would be.
I can't believe this is where we're going straight to
You said you need to. I'm your wingman.
All right,
and if I'm your wingman, it's going to turn into a carnage.
Okay. It is something that we have to plan for the future.
Yeah. I'm saying you're out of this right now. Just talking.
I
was just trying to bring stuff. Let's go back to your mum's house. Because I like this show, and they're podcasting pioneers. They are doing when you see the top 5, top 10 or whatever, every time.
Yep.
Also, he was talking to Dax Shepard saying, what's up, Dax? Why can't I be on your show or something like that? He's got a weird little thing where he brings up about the armchair because I think he wants Dax to either come on or have them on. He's trying to synergize.
So, like public beef.
Right. So I'm the Bert Kreischer of Hawk versus Wolf. So now I'm doing it to Bert Kreischer. Like, why don't you come down here and talk some shit to us? Because this is the thing. Bert, like me, would probably come. Tom, like you, but he probably isn't going to come. He probably thinks.
Why you got to throw me in that?
Because I'm giving you a compliment. I'm saying Tom Segura and you would be like, that sounds great, you guys, but I mean, you're morons and lame and no one cares, so probably not going to spend my time going down there.
All right.
Me and Bert Bert and I, because I know.
Where are they?
They're in LA. I'm just saying it would be a way closer of a possibility. Bert loves Tony. He loves skateboarding and action and people doing crazy shit. He's like, oh yeah, hell yeah, I'm there. Like crocodile wrestling, I'm there. Like he's a maniac. He's out of his mind. Tom is a comedian who's obviously a creative beast but just comes across, because I listen to the show religiously. He's sensible as he would hate me. Like the reason I've not been invited, and it's probably because he's like, oh yeah, that guy.
You think they vetted you?
Yeah, because I think Dr. Drew has been on there a few times. He's like, I pitched him to you, and I was like, you did? Thanks, dude. He's like, yeah, no response. And I was like,
not so much.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
But I understand. I don't take it. I get it. He's like, you're legitimately crazy, and I, of sound mind, try to avoid legitimately crazy people whenever I can. So that's
even though I work with one.
I still say Bert is his alcoholism. Sorry, Bert, I love you, but I think he drinks too much. But it's also a talent. I believe he can drink. I hear a lot of comedians say that he'll drink with Bert, and then they'll get up in the morning, and Bert's like, "You coming to the gym?" And he's like, I shit my pants and I'm quivering in a corner. Yes. And Bert's on the phone saying, come to the gym. Like,
right.
So he's a different kind of human when it comes to that stuff. Yep. But he's a very, just like you, they're an excellent father, like, because I follow them. Mm. One of the greatest dads, celebrity dads. So I think, and you are too. I feel like you and like, it's just not that surprising that you're a great father. I think people that don't know you maybe could see you being still like a skateboard guy that only thinks about himself or something. But I don't think you were the first great father I've ever been close enough to sort of be like, oh, yeah, I'll try that. That's a good idea. Like I like, because I'm not a lot of people to follow. And then from the years of them, your kids getting older and just seeing that you're like, yeah, I got to go because I'm jumping out of a plane. I'm like, haven't you already done that? And you're like, yeah, but Keegan wants to jump out of a plane, so I'm going. I'm like, not all dads are, and your schedule is crazy. Yeah. To do all the things you do with them, it shows.
Well, it's just more, it's just making that priority. And I had to work towards that. That was something that I probably didn't do enough of. I definitely didn't do enough of.
In the very early
In the early days, 15. I mean, in the early days, like when Riley was really young, I was 24 when he was born.
Okay, so that's really young.
And I wasn't making money then. Right. And I was hustling. And so I think I got in this mode of just constant go, and hustle because I was really trying to make ends meet.
Yeah.
And so that turned something in me where it was just like, you got to keep going. You got to keep going, going. And then when things got really successful, I couldn't turn that off.
Right.
It was like, just keep, what's next? What's the thing? And then it's finally, probably years too late, or, to the advantage of my other kids is that I finally figured out how to turn that off or to prioritize it differently.
All right.
And it was hard. I mean, saying no, especially when you get crazy offers.
Yeah, I know.
It's super hard.
You're explaining the first bit where you tried so much and nobody cares, to be denied and to be working 24 hours a day to be a great skateboarder and no one's interested in anything you do. Mm. And then all of a sudden everybody wants to do it. And you're going to say no after all those years of being denied. Yeah. It doesn't make sense.
It was hard. But at the same time, you have these children that enjoy the time with you. And so you're taking away from them and maybe you don't realize that.
Right.
Because there are the moments with your kids. It's not about the fantastical trips and stuff. It's more about those moments where you actually are talking to them and connect. Maybe they happen on those trips.
Like a drive in the car or something.
Yeah.
Because I feel like sometimes I've had moments with my kids that are way more perishable.
Kathy and I took all of our kids on a road trip last year.
See what I mean?
In an RV.
That's so crazy.
And even though it was hectic and it was tight quarters, and yeah, there was definitely a few disagreements in the back, but also we had a captive audience.
Right.
DraftKings. I love DraftKings. I
do
don't
too.
know. You do?
Yes,
Do you really?
I do.
Yeah, I don't know much about gambling. I feel like every time I've tried to do it, I wish I liked football because it seems like it's easier. And I always bet on fighters that are my friends to win.
Yeah. How's that go for you?
Not good. Real bad. I bet with my heart, which means I got no money.
Yeah, you got to read the odds.
Yeah, I don't do that. Not when it's a friend. I'm like, man, my friend told me he's going to win for sure. That's a bad look.
Yeah.
It's time to celebrate. The first NFL Sunday of the season is about to kick off, and DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of the NFL, is putting you in the center of the weekend's action. New customers can get a free shot at the $1 million top prize with their first deposit by signing up using the code WOLF. Sorry, Tony. Get in.
I just said I liked them.
Sometimes they say Hawk. Get in on the action now. It's simple. Just pick your lineup, stay under the salary cap, and see how your team stacks up against the competition. Feel the NFL action and never before with a free shot at $1 million payday. Download DraftKings app now and use code WOLF. This week, new customers can get a free shot at the $1 million top prize and compete for millions of prizes across all continents. Enter code WOLF to get a free shot at the $1 million top prize.
You do this when you say $1 million.
Well,
Right.
you do that.
Okay.
With your first deposit. That's code WOLF only at DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of the NFL. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details. I can't say.
And a chance to win $1 million.
Hey everybody, Jason Ellis here, talking about DoorDash. Are you a busy person? Are you doing a lot of stuff? Let's say maybe you're doing a couple of podcasts and you're skateboarding. You have to drive from LA to San Diego and you don't have time to eat. But if you don't eat and you try to skateboard after not eating, you're going to faint and fall off the ramp and bunk your head on the ground and go to hospital. I don't want to go to hospital. I want to stay fueled and I want to have food when I can get food. Well, guess what, you guys? DoorDash. You can get anything from these guys, all the foods, all the stuff that you would need. You can get Cheesecake Factory. We're talking 300,000 different partners, and you can go to any place you want if you want to go down the road. Let's say you're hurt. Sorry to just dwell back to let's say you're hurt and you can't walk, and you don't want to go down just to the corner store. DoorDash. DoorDash will go to the corner store for you and bring back your stuff. What about toothpaste or wraps for your ankle or an ice pack for your mind? Sorry, that's just what I use. All these things are available at DoorDash, and for a limited time, our listeners get 25% off. And 0 delivery fees on their first order. It's a pretty good deal, everybody. Off $15 or more you got to spend. When you download the DoorDash app and enter the code WOLF, you will get 25% off, up to $10 value, and 0 delivery fees on your first order. When you download the DoorDash app in the App Store and enter code WOLF. Don't forget, that's code WOLF for 25% off your first order with DoorDash. Subject to change, terms apply.
And so we did get to really talk to them and connect with them in closer ways, and I was thankful for that. Yeah, and yeah, the trip was cool, but the moments I remember are more just like the stuff the weird stuff that happened when we were driving and the connections we were talking about music and whatever.
No, when you hear your child say something that you're like, you came to that all by yourself.
Yeah, yes.
And I'm really impressed by it.
Yeah.
And then you stop and go, man, what a moment.
Yeah, yes.
Those ones beat all the other ones. I know where
Yes.
where I'll hear my son like make a joke or a comment, like, or my daughter made a comment about some people that were around her house. They're into a certain kind of thing. I've never told my daughter what to. She can do whatever she wants. If she wants to wear a mask or whatever it is, that's great. I'm not that with them. But her opinion of these people and just the way she just chopped them down in a conversation, it was awesome. I was like, oh my God, that's how you feel?
You probably had something to do with that.
Yeah. A little bit. And
For sure, yeah.
Felt
And you
good.
take pride in that. Yeah, absolutely.
I was like,
I remember almost all my kids when the moment when I realized they got sarcasm.
Right.
And that they could use it.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, you picked it up.
Right, yeah. No, it's
got
almost
this.
like, if he's going to, if my son starts shaving or, like he can just do a thing that I'm like, what? You're just like officially a dude now? Like you got
Yeah.
dude opinions and it's awesome. I love it.
It is funny how it seems to happen so quickly.
Yeah, especially, well, I'm divorced, so I see them half the time. So sometimes, these people grow fast.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel
well,
like
yeah,
I
for
see
sure.
them,
I mean, I went through that with my kids too. And for sure, there are times where you're like, oh, you've got a kind of a different vibe.
Yeah. Yeah, like what's going
it's growth.
on?
It's evolving.
Right.
So, sometimes it's an issue, but sometimes it's just like, oh, you're okay.
Right.
Cool. Kathy's right now is taking our last son, dropping him off at college right now.
And that's the last.
That's the
son.
last of the boys. And then my daughter is 13.
And that college thing sounds like a significant, every one of them has been dropped off for their.
So Riley didn't go to college, but the rest all did. Spencer graduated. Keegan's in college. Miles is in college. Calvin's in college.
In California, or are they like away?
Keegan's in Colorado now.
Does that freak you out?
Well, he was in Seattle before, so he was already distant.
Does that freak you out?
It's been a couple of years, so.
Did it freak you out when it started?
At first, kind of, but he had homies there. It was just bad
not being
timing.
able to see
He went to
him.
Seattle, and he went with a couple friends who were in the same college.
Yeah.
Then COVID hit.
Oh, so when he
And then everything just went
stuck in there.
Everything went to hell, and a couple of his friends were just like, "Well, I'm going to go back home and do school online."
So
he stayed there
Oh, wow.
because he liked the snow, he liked the skate scene there, and
Okay.
and then now he doesn't. His homies all kind of left, and so a couple of his homies are in Colorado, so he's there with Tavin. Way.
Oh, wow. No way.
Yeah,
So hilarious.
living with him.
Shut the fuck.
Yeah.
That is the fucking. Not everybody would want to watch that TV show, but I do. Your son and Danny Way's son living together. Please just chat and let me just like, wow, whoa, no. And it wouldn't even have to be like just whatever their brains are thinking. I would love to know.
Yeah.
Sounds so exciting.
So yeah, it's cool. I'm happy that I feel like he's gonna have a true college experience now instead of being stuck
Yeah, right.
in a dorm going to college online when you can't actually go to like that whole thing was just
Right. I heard they party a lot though, Tony.
the boys in college.
Yeah.
I've heard that too.
Right. I never went to school or anything, but
Right.
I heard that. they-
Not our boys though. No.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Your son is partying, dude. He's doing beer
He's already
bongs.
been through 2 years of
Is
college.
he getting slapped with a paddle and stuff?
Are you talking about Animal House?
That's not what
Is
all frat people do.
Oh, you mean is he like going through hazing?
Yeah, but they don't all get hazed.
They're not. Those guys are not in a. They're not in a frat. Miles is in a frat.
Right. So he's getting paddled.
He did. They did a weird. Well, there's a lot of laws against the hazing process now, and the things that.
Oh, that was a yes.
So their hazing thing now is like you have to wear a suit for a week.
Oh.
Just weird stuff like that.
It's like jackasses.
Or you have to be on call all day long. And I'm going to call you and you got to recite something to me. So that kind of thing.
Oh,
Well, yeah.
I think I'd rather get paddled.
I mean, I think they probably do some more subversive stuff, but they don't talk about
Right, because it's illegal. Yeah. I don't. One time I saw them. One time my friend had a girlfriend that was in a sorority.
it. Yes.
Okay, yeah. So we went to a
Clearly, we didn't go to college.
Dude, I didn't
Sorority,
go anywhere.
you pledge allegiance? Pledge
To the teachers or the flag? I can't remember.
to your frat.
It is to the frat, right?
Yes.
So we go to this house, and I'm like, whoa, this is a big house, and it's just all girls. I'm like, what the hell? This is so weird. I'm like, wait, do they all live here? And Colin's like, what are you, an idiot? I'm like, yeah, mate. I don't know what, you know what I mean? So he's like, I can't even deal with you. Like, just go over there and have your mind blown. So I'm just looking at all these people, and they're all like, I'm like, what the fuck? These are all like adults living in the same house. They've got weird jingles they do together. There's posters of themselves everywhere. I'm like, idiots. This place sucks. I want out of here. So then I leave. I'm like, I can't stay in this house anymore. I'm going to wait out the front. The house next to him, or I don't know, right next to him, it's got a bunch of dudes in it. And all the dudes are lifting weights in the living room. And they're like, what are you looking at? I'm like, fuck off, idiot. And they're like, I'm like, fuck you, fuck all you fucking idiots.
Oh my God.
And then all these dudes come out, and I got to like get put in a car and driven out of here because I'm going to get frat beaten. I'm like, no, I'm not.
Like you just wander upon a normal like sorority house and frat house. And then you're picking a fight.
Okay. They said, what the fuck are you looking at? And I was like, fuck off.
But you probably were looking at them.
Yeah, because there are a bunch of dudes lifting weights in a living room. It was so weird. Who puts the bench in the living room? Like, you guys don't have a couch or some shit. It's such a weird getup.
Wow.
But yeah, that was and then, and I was like, well, those guys are angry. I'm like, note to self, don't get in a frat.
Don't join a frat.
Yeah. I feel like I would be picked on it in a frat.
I don't know. I feel like everyone gets picked on in a frat until you move up to the
and then you do the picking on
level. Yeah, then you do the picking on. That's it. It's this endless cycle. Yes.
And that's life, right? You get
kind of, yeah.
Which is
it's life in 4 years.
Which is why I'm against frats.
There you go.
Because you're raising somebody to be like, yeah, you shit on me until I get to the top, and then I shit on you. No.
No, you shit on someone else.
Yeah, when I get to the top, I shit down on everybody else.
That's it. Right.
Yeah, which is
it's like
you're working your ass off. It's a
Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, it's a mean one though. You can't wait to get to the top to shit on everybody. It's like, what about get to the top and rejoice and help your fellow man?
No.
Highest level of education. Get to the top and start shitting, son. Welcome to the frat.
Well, that is just the frat, though. That's not what they're teaching at the schools. Well,
it's a weird thing that when you get to that level, all of a sudden it seems like more of a gang mentality. You've really got to have a clique or you're not going to last. Do people go to fraternities and stay solo? Is that a thing?
Stay solo, like they're in the fraternity, but they live outside of it. I'm not privy to all.
You didn't go either?
I'm sure. No, I didn't go.
How much school did you go to?
High school.
What? How old are you when you leave high school?
18.
Oh wow! So not much.
Not much.
That's not much of an education.
Not much schooling.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's funny. Somehow my senior picture has been surfacing recently. My senior high school picture.
Yeah. Why?
Just in the last couple of days.
The sweet thing.
Yeah, because it's straight up 80s. Like it's very iconic of 80s.
That was a win. That was
I had this going. And
you had the only people that had a better 80s haircut than that was like people in the Smiths and shit. Like you had your one was like was a solid.
Yeah, it's a pretty. I'll show it to you. It's pretty textbook. Like
California.
Oh yeah, that's what you think of. Like oh that's whatever. Tony Hawk with his McSqueeb.
Yeah.
And it's my high school photo. And I've got this shirt with geometric shapes on it that's red and black and white. And it's just 80s. Yeah. So I guess that's why it's surfaced.
Okay.
But I forgot where you're going with this. Oh, that is the only photo I have from that school. So I didn't show up to the yearbook photos.
Skating.
I was just skating. I just didn't care. I was just like, no. And then I realized, well, okay, I'm actually going to graduate high school. I might as well have some documentation of that.
Fair enough.
So I showed up to the senior high school photos.
Big of you.
Ooh. And, got in my best.
Did you have a girlfriend in high school?
Kinda, not really.
You weren't very good with the ladies back then, right?
Yeah, no.
Even though you were Tony Hawk, the pro skateboarder? Because in the 80s,
I didn't.
Even if you were like the number one skateboarder, that wasn't cool, right?
Not really, not in high school. It was cool if you went to if you went to some big event or you went to the skate park
Right.
and one of the
But
skaters,
civilians,
like
not.
one of the skaters' older sisters is there or
Right.
something like that. But yeah, not in the general.
Wait, you hooked up
populace.
with one of your skater friends' older sisters?
No, I just mean that was just sort of
Gonna get the
that was a general. It was more
What
of
was her name?
that was more of a general idea.
I'm gonna get a Facebook and find her.
Oh my god!
I follow some people that I've dated that I like. Was just a little thing that I had with somebody when I was really out of control, and now they're a mom and they're like older and super normal and lame, and
What?
and
What do you-
I follow them because I'm like, good for you.
Good for you, doing
Look, doing
life, doing the normal life.
Yeah, you look like you've got your head on your shoulders and you got a beautiful family and you go to work and you're happy about it. Like
you,
at
and
one
you were
point-
not affected by my interaction with you.
Yes,
That's what you mean.
kind
You
of.
were not tainted by
Why'd you come over in the first place? It's a weird thing to
because
want.
they were in college.
Right. It was maybe she was in a sorority and they were like, yeah, you should hook up with that skateboard guy in the dog kennel. That'll work out.
Exactly.
She's a nice person though.
I don't even remember what I was talking. Oh, okay. So anyway, the senior picture, I got my diploma. This is a true story. I got my diploma, picked it up, didn't go to homecoming, didn't go to.
Do you have a book hat on?
Yeah.
Right.
Didn't go to homecoming, didn't go to formal, whatever. Didn't go to the prom.
Yeah.
And then I got my diploma and I skated to my car. Like
Off
I
the stage?
skated away.
Oh.
No, not off the stage, but just once I got it, got my skateboard, like I used to keep it near my locker.
Right.
And then just skated, took off. That was it. Didn't look back. I mean, it sounds fantastical, but I do remember thinking like, I'm not done with that. That was not, I didn't have an enjoyable high school experience.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't go to high school either, but you,
I look at this under your breath. I didn't go to high school either.
I didn't have a,
What was the last?
I went to high school year 7. So
Year 7.
grade 6, then year 7's high school, I think. And then they made me stay down.
Wait, how many years in Australia
Of what?
of school? 12?
Sure. Grade 1 to 6, then year 1 to 6. Yeah. And if you go to year 6, that's like university, I think they call it. Man, everybody in
I
Australia
don't even know how
and
to
everybody
translate
in
that.
America
So
is-
you're saying
you're
year
saying it
7.
wrong, Jason. I know it. What?
So you dropped out of year 7.
No, year 7 I stayed
How
down.
old were you?
16.
Okay, so you would have been probably a junior.
Sure.
10th grade here. Just want to translate that to everyone.
Okay, so
in the
yeah, I
US.
left. Yeah, but I failed 7th grade, and they put me up to year 8, so I didn't even pass a year of high school. So
Got it.
my dad was like, "You should just get a job. You're too stupid."
Was that
It was
those
a
exact
different time.
words?
It was a different era. We agree. I agreed. I didn't take that as an insult. I remember trying. There was a few times there where I was like, I'm not gonna dick around because everyone's pointing out that I'm gonna fail. Like it wasn't like people were like, "Hey, why are you not doing stuff?" And I was like, "Okay, I don't understand
Words, numbers.
I can't read it. I can't
Right.
write it. I don't know how to add it. I don't know what you're talking about." And then my dad was like, "You should just get a job being a brickies laborer," which is, it was referred to me as digging holes for a living. And I was like, "Yeah, no problem." But
Brickies
then
laborer.
skateboarding came, and then I remember the same thing. I remember I didn't get a diploma. I didn't get anything. I just said, "Wow, this is definitely not going to work out." But I tell you what, pro skateboarder, and that was before anybody who was born in Australia had ever been a pro skateboarder. And I was like, "I'm going to do it. All I need you to do is just let me live at your house and feed me for 6 months." And then 6 years later, I got my first check from being a pro skateboarder.
But you were still in Oz then?
No, I'd moved to America by
You're
then.
here, yeah.
Yeah, the first real check I got. It's funny, I saw a Hill brother at a boxing fight. My best friend who had his last boxing fight the other day, he's training the guy that sponsored me. He owns the distribution of all skateboarding in Australia. Hardcore, it was called. But they sponsored me Vision Streetwear when it was all big and it was like the pants and the skateboard. Full sponsorship of boards, wheels, everything. and it was $163 every 3 months. It was the most odd salary that made nothing except me pro.
Huh.
And it was like something that they had to, I don't know how or why they paid me, but then the real check that I ever got from skateboarding was when I moved to America, and it was the 4th time that I was here, and Element started paying me $600 a month. And then I got a raise to $700. And then I got stuck in Vancouver because I didn't have a holiday visa. I had a holiday visa, not an athlete visa. And that's when the Red Dragons picked me up. And Colin McKay was like, Bones Brigade, dude. George is running a tight ship over there. They'll get you an athlete visa. Sure, it's not like the coolest thing. He's like, you're a vert dude. You ain't cool anyway. This is the move. And I was like, I will try that. And then, I got an athlete visa for 2 years. And that was really
Good advice.
It was
George Powell is probably the only one that could have pulled that at that time.
Yeah, he was
The only one responsible enough and with the right connections.
And they took care of me. I love that was to me my my peak of being a skateboarder. That was like the Bonus Brigade and going to see George and having the little meetings and them always trying to be encouraging, like, hey man, don't drink so much, you know what I mean? Because it was always like, he's great, but he's a train wreck, you know.
Yes.
I remember Michael Furukawa watching me in a
Still
hotel room. I know, right? I've seen him at a trade show a
Yep.
couple of years ago. I love those. I will always love those guys. But him watching me late at night in my room, and I'm like, wow, it's getting pretty tired. Like, I'm gonna hit the sack, and he's like, yeah, okay, Jason, okay.
Oh, because you were gonna go.
Because I was like, as soon as he leaves, I'm going. Like, I'm going to get wasted.
Getting babysat. What was I gonna say? Oh, when I when I was in high school, things started getting a little crazy with skating, just in terms of traveling and doing stuff. And I was 16.
And you were traveling the world.
I was starting to.
So you've gone to a couple of countries to do.
And so I chose to take, it's not called the GED. The GED is like a high school equivalency test.
Yeah.
Where you take this test for a whole day, for half a day. I don't know, it's like 6 or 8 hours. And then if you get enough stuff right, you have a high school diploma.
Oh, okay.
Right? It's usually called the GED, but here in California, it was called the CHSPE.
Okay.
And so I took that, but I could feel the disappointment from my parents that
You didn't go the whole way.
that I wasn't going to go all the way. And they still wanted me to look at colleges. And so, they
They didn't believe that you were going to make
well,
a
my
living out of
parents, no, my
skateboarding?
parents were always, they were always supportive of skating.
I was going to say, your dad took you to
But my mom was an educator,
a teacher.
a teacher. Yeah.
Oh, dang.
She taught at a community college. And so, and she got her doctorate in business education, but so that always weighed heavily on me. And so I did go take it and I got it. And I thought that when I got it, I passed. And when I got it, that they would be like, all right, just go. And my dad was like, yeah, you should, finish up. And maybe you should go look at a college. Like you take a couple classes. And so just to appease him and her, I went looking at college campuses with them.
Yeah. Oh,
When I was 16 or 17, and I looked like a runt. Like I was so small when I was 16, I used to get pulled over because cops thought I wasn't allowed to drive.
oh shit.
Like it happened a few times. And so I'm walking around college like I'm someone's little brother
Yeah.
and looking at places like, what do you think of this? I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, it looks like a school, I guess. Sure, whatever.
Yeah. No interest at all.
No, and knowing that I'm just not going to sign up. Like
Right.
I know that I've got these opportunities happening, and I didn't know how long it would be. I mean, obviously you think you're invincible and you think like this is going to happen forever, but at the same time I was like, but I do have this window of opportunity, and I feel like I should really do that. So when I did get my equivalency credit for high school, I showed it to them, and by then I'm in my junior year. And I'm already taking elective courses because I have independent PE.
Yeah.
So
Independent PE, what is that?
skateboarding.
That counted?
No, I made it count.
How'd you do that?
So they had a whole thing. It was pretty cool. There was one other skater in my school, Ted Air.
Shout
What's
out
up?
to Ted.
And Ted and I, also our friend Corey. I take that back.
Fuck you, Corey. Ted, what's up?
Fetterman was awesome too.
Why you get your last name? You're big.
But Ted and I, we read, like we were like lawyers. We read what it takes to create a course. right? Because you can do independent study if you create the curriculum for your course. I'm talking about for physical education.
Okay, yeah.
So you create like, what are the objectives? What is the training that you're doing? How are you going to do this? And so we just started bullshitting so hard on these forums. Just like, what is the objective? The objective is to get much more solid aerial maneuvers.
Yeah.
Right?
Solid game plan.
Yeah. And to have our stamina so that we can do full 45-second runs.
Oh, very smart.
Just going deep into like, we want to make sure our rock and rolls are more powerful. It's just whatever it took.
Me too, man. I relate to that.
And
they went for it.
And we submitted it. And because we did all of our due diligence on it, and because we filled it out completely, and we had Grant Britton at Del Mar Skate Ranch to sign off for our hours of skating, that was it. Like when we had that, then we had all the pieces we needed.
Did you get an A+ for skateboarding?
You just get a pass or fail.
Oh, you passed skateboarding though?
Yeah. Oh, and maybe it was grades, but we would have Grant fill in hours that we skated that were just excessive because we were there all day.
I know, right?
So we would go to the skate park right after school, 2 or 3 o'clock, leave at whatever, 9,
right,
when they turn the lights off.
Yeah.
And then he would just say like, oh yeah, they were here from this to this, skating the whole time.
They were.
We weren't skating the whole time, playing video games too, but.
Right, but putting in work.
And for years at Torrey Pines High School, you could take our course.
You hooked up people to do skateboard, man.
That's pretty sick.
They owe you.
So by my senior year, so that was one elective. So I would get out early, and then by my senior year, you only had to take 5 classes, and so one of my classes was skateboarding.
Yeah.
So in my senior year, I got out at lunch every day.
Okay.
And so that was for me. That was the deciding factor where I was like, all right, I'll see this through because I'm only here from 8 to 11:30.
Yeah.
In my senior year, and that's all I need to get an actual diploma, and I know that'll make my parents much happier. But it was hard because some of the classes, especially like physics and stuff, I would have to travel for for skate events. And
you were doing homework in the hotel?
Well, I would try to make up all my work.
Yeah.
But a lot of times I had to be in class just to learn the lesson. Because there's no online.
Right.
There's no online learning or distance education, whatever. So I remember a couple times, especially in physics, there were such complicated theories and stuff. And then they would send me the work or give me the work to go home with. They're like, oh, this is what we're going to be working on for Thursday and Friday. And then I'd be like, I do not. Just to even make sense to me.
Yeah.
This is like,
I know how that feels.
And so I would turn in what I thought it meant. And he's just like, no.
No.
So my grades suffered in my senior year, but I passed.
Okay.
And then when I finally did graduate, things were exploding in terms of skateboarding in the 80s, Bones Brigade. This was 86.
So that must have felt good.
And so that's when my parents were like, all right.
Because you were getting...
Go do that.
Right. And you got a degree.
I already had a house by then.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
So that's when they gave me their blessing, but they were thankful that I graduated. And I mean, there's part of me that's like, yeah, it's cool. I got a high school diploma.
Yeah, no, I would have, as much as I shit on education because I don't have one, I would love to have that under my belt. I don't know how much longer I'll live. I mean, I got a couple of things I want to achieve, but that's on the list. Like if I get past the athletical stuff in my life, I would like to get a little bit more of an education.
Also,
it's a little bit embarrassing.
And when kids ask me, like, I'm like, there are things that I learned in high school that I carried over into skating and learning to do business and learning to do other issues like manufacturing and things. I definitely learned those basic skills or the concepts of them in school.
Right.
And so I don't ever discount the fact that, well, yeah, I just graduated because I wanted to say I graduated and then I went off to be a pro skater.
Let me ask you this. Do you think that you got an education for business more so from your parents or from your schooling?
From my schooling.
Well, okay.
Yeah. My mom helped a bit, but her thing was kind of beyond, it was just different. Hers was more formal business education.
Okay.
And I'm in this weird Wild West world of pro skating where we're just throwing anything against the wall to see what works. Right. It's a little more refined now, a little. But it's still very it's still very different, it's still very cutting edge. So there's still ways that you can be a pro skater and carve your own path and make it work.
Right. There's more ways now.
There's many more ways.
They're just way more difficult.
Yeah.
They're all way more difficult. To be a professional skateboarder now seems to be, I mean, I guess this depends on the era, but I'm just so impressed by what everybody does these days. I guess I was just as impressed when I was in my prime, but it just seems like a lot of the girls I see on the internet skateboarding, they couldn't do that 10 years ago.
They didn't have, they definitely didn't have the resources or the welcome.
Right.
From the general skate industry. Now it's open arms.
Good.
Come on in. Yeah. It's
Good.
amazing.
Yeah, I think it's the whole thing, the turnaround of skateboarding being, what I remember is kind of closed-minded and angry, kind of carried a little bit of sustain towards the rest of the world. And now it's like, this gay skateboard companies and a gay skateboard park. And I'm like, what? I totally would have gone there. Like, that's crazy. I didn't know, at one point, if you were to, yeah, man, we're opening a gay skate park. Good luck anybody going into that skate park. And now it's like, nobody cares. They just go to it.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
You're welcome to.
Yeah. So I think.
No, I once saw you getting hassled at a skate event by other pro skaters because there were rumors that you might be gay. And I watched it in real time and I was like, why are we even, what is the point of this? And yeah.
Wow. I know exactly what you're talking about now because I forgot about the contest. Like to me, it's two different days or two different lives almost. Like I remember at one point in that contest, you were like, I bet you can't nose grind over that rail. And I was like, okay, deal. And then I made it and you had your wallet in your pocket. And I was like, who has their wallet in their pocket in the fucking final? Like, and it wasn't a shit wallet. It was like a fucking credit card.
That's so funny. People used to give me shit about that. They were like, that was a, to them, that was a symbolism that they're like, I only cared about money because I had my wallet in my pocket, but it's because twice I got my wallet ripped off from the deck in my pants, in my bag from the deck of a vert ramp.
Twice.
It happened to me twice. And so it was like, fool me once, fool me twice.
Yeah.
I'm just skating my wallet in my pocket.
Yeah, fair enough. I would too after that.
And it wasn't like just leaving your car. Like you had to go pay in place to go. You had to pay to skate, and it was just the whole thing. Anyway, but I remember Phelps used to give me shit about that all the time. Like, you're the guy that's keeps with his wallet in his pocket. And I was like, I know, but it's for a reason.
I love but his theory is because you have so much money that that's the
or that I'm hoarding it.
Right. Because you
I'm
have so much
miser,
money.
Yeah.
You know, people have a lot of money. That's how they get a lot of money. It's because they're tired and it's like, shut up. Broke, jealous.
There are photos though of me that I've seen in recent years where I'm like, oh yeah, there it is in my pocket.
To me, I was blown away because it was thick enough if I slam, that's gonna
that's how I learned my lesson.
Hips off.
Yeah. That's why I stopped putting it in my pocket because I ate shit a couple
and
times.
Landed on it.
But also that's why I put my phone in my left pocket too, because I fell on my phone falling forward in my right pocket so many times.
I've started to skate a little bit with it in my pocket, but I'm like, nah, I'm not good enough. I should take it out. Because I'm like, it's so convenient.
They're so thin.
If you want to film something, you just pop it out of your pocket and put it back in. It's like nothing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
My phone, like, if you ever see my phone come up on AirDrop, it's called Tony's Follow Cam.
Right. Because you do an excellent job out there.
Once I got the wide angle lens, it's game on.
Right. Yeah, but the other part of that contest, I do remember really incredible anxiety, for not knowing what I am or, and the person that was like throwing that around to everybody, because he was telling fans. He was like, make sure you tell Ellis he's an F-bomb. And I was like, wow. But it wasn't the feeling I would have now is like, how could somebody be that angry at somebody for their preferences?
Right.
But at that time I was like, if anybody knows that
I'm exposed.
Yeah. I was like, I mean, in the end,
sucks.
I don't really talk about it, but I mean, I went back to Australia, dude. I gave up being a pro skateboarder because every contest he was there doing that. And half of the people, because he was better than me, backed him on it. And I was like, you know what? It's not fun for me anymore being here. Matter of fact, worst place I could be is at a skateboard contest because this dude, he won't fight. He just keeps talking about how he's gonna. And I'm like, just do it. Like, let's end it. And it's because I remember I was scared to fight, but I was also like, I'd rather not be here anymore. So I'll fight for this to end.
Mm-hmm.
But he just wanted it to just keep going and for everybody to be mean to
Well, I'm sorry to bring it up. I do remember it.
I'm good now.
Yeah.
You know, I'm good. I'm better for it now because I feel like I just said, seeing skate parks where people have rainbow ramps, that probably wouldn't have brought a smile to my face, the smile that I get now, where I'm like, good for you. I don't care. It doesn't, I don't, now I'm better for it and you could call me whatever you want, doesn't bother me. I had to go through that to be who I am now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just happy for everybody who doesn't have to hear that. And I think that people obviously still hear it, but way less. And I just think, good for you, the world. You know, if you're trans or whatever you are, you're him, her, they, them, I don't, and you go to the skate park and everybody treats you like a skateboarder, I don't care about what happened to me. I'm just happy that we're in this era. And I look forward to, later on where it's even more of like, yeah, good for you, man. Literally, who cares?
Yeah.
That'll be a great time.
Yeah. We're definitely closer to that now than ever.
The kids show promise.
Yeah.
My children are just like, yeah, good for you. What are you?
Oh yeah, same. Yeah, are you kidding? My daughter, 13. There's a whole understanding.
They barely care.
It's awesome.
the best part about it. You can tell that they barely care because it really doesn't mean anything. Good for you. Love him. Love her.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
For some weird reason, it's very difficult for everyone else to go down that path.
Yeah. But the kids are that's the era that we're growing up in. Like, yep. It's awesome.
Yeah, I love that. Very much so.
So what else did you want to talk about?
No, that was it. I don't have anything.
Oh, that was it?
Yeah.
I thought you came in like loaded with a bunch of subject matter.
No, I just didn't want to go too much into skateboarding again.
Okay.
But I think if I don't skateboard, that's going to help. Let me ask you this. So 50th birthday, it's before my fight. It's like a month before my fight.
Okay.
And
what's the goal on your 50th birthday?
I don't know if I want to. I think I should definitely slow down on trying to have goals in skateboarding. I think maybe coming and skating and taking it easy until the fight's over would probably be the best idea.
Okay.
And
you're talking to me as if I dictated something that you're supposed to do, like you're trying to get out of it.
You said you should do a kickflip indie, and that's the trick. So it's not your fault, but you started something that I can't finish.
But you're acting like somehow I've imposed this. Like no. Oh, don't back out now, damn it.
No, I didn't think you were going to say that. I was asking your opinion. Do you think it's a good idea that I haven't finished?
I think you have come so far in skating in such a short time in terms of getting back your rhythm and stuff. Like, who cares about a kickflip indie?
Yeah. Wait till later.
Sure. Also, but in full disclosure, the ramp is not here right now, so you're not getting in that rhythm anytime soon. It's in Salt Lake City for the Vert Alert that already happened.
It's going to be so awesome. I mean, it was
awesome. It was awesome. So when it comes back, you can get back in the rhythm, but I don't think that's the end all.
My only problem is, can I come to the ramp and skateboard in a casual manner for the next 2 months?
You should be able to.
All right, that was a really good answer. See, this is so Tom Segura, Burt Kreischer right now. You're like, you're saying all the things that should be said for a maniac.
Well, also, I'm not joining you in the kickflip indie quest anymore.
Sure
so
Spoiler alert. He did it.
We talked about that.
Oh, we did?
Yeah.
I thought we talked about how we both didn't do it. We're not at making it yet.
No, that was one show prior.
Oh,
then
so
the last
one
show
that
that
comes
aired
out
was
now is going to be how you made it and I didn't? Cool.
Yeah. We're past that.
Let's not make that the promo. Hey, Ellis, yes, don't remember when I made that kickflip video. You didn't. Check us out next week.
But also, you were talking about how Jimmy Wilkins did the slob air pointer, and
yes,
it's your trick, and
yeah,
you got some wins.
Yeah,
and I'm telling you, when you clicked in, when you had that body work done, you clicked into something different. And I feel like if that's where you are now, it's going to get a lot easier.
I agree. I really do.
It's going to get a lot easier to just cruise too, because your whole thing is that you came with a goal in mind. And when you reach that goal, that was not the end of the session. And usually it was in the same exact run that we were like, I made that trick. Let's do something else. Dong.
Yep. Yeah, we're learning slowly, and hopefully I'm strong enough to persevere. But this lady that's working on me and getting my hips and all these different muscles that aren't firing off from all my injuries. She showed me photos this morning of when I first came in, how much lower one shoulder is. They're too far forward. My back doesn't work. My one leg is forward and lower, and I'm like, I feel like some sort of weird lizard creature, or like maybe I should move to like a castle and like drag a leg and have a hump on my back. Like I feel like it's getting really crushed. So to know that she's like, don't worry, I'll get this back in line. Like you will do a squat and use all the correct muscles by the time I'm done with you. Just to know that I'm not doing any of these things while training for a fight and trying to do skateboarding, which these days has made me even more convinced that skateboarding is one of the hardest sports in the world. I haven't done all the sports, but I've done a lot of sports. Sure. Tedious.
It's funny when you say how she's getting you all in line. Like I have a different perspective on my body, where something happens where it's like, oh, this is happening, and now this is like my neck is more turned this way all the time, and that's just how it is.
You won't get it fixed.
I've tried. I mean, I've definitely tried to get my neck more in order.
Okay.
But there is just sort of a new normal that my body's at. And it's just like, all right, that's where we're at now. And I guess I'm not in the place where it's just like, I had to go do all this work and try to get it exactly the same. Like, I'm happy with how I function. I feel like I can still skate good. And that works for me.
It does.
You know what I mean? I don't care if I can't get into some crazy yoga position.
I would be doing the same thing you're doing if I was looking like you when you're over there on that ramp. I can tell something's up. I mean, you said it the other day. You were like, man, whatever happened from the day to today, you changed. And I was like, yeah, because I have a lot of injuries, and I think it's a little bit different. If you ever get really hurt, you tend to it, and I think I've just been I got a little unlucky. I tend to
it, but I do feel like that it also sets me up for a new normal that is maybe somewhat compromised, and I'm okay with that
every time.
Yeah, I think in terms of trying to think of the last like pretty bad injury I got, I felt like, okay, I don't have that same snap anymore. I don't have that same hard pump, and I'm not going to chase that. I'm accepting of it. I'm 53. It's okay. Like, I don't need to blast 12 feet on airs anymore.
Yeah, okay.
Not that I ever really did that much, but
yeah, you did.
I had better speed and better, you know what I mean? Better rhythm.
You used to be able to do 10-foot Japan air and 10-foot transition.
Sure. And now I feel like I'm going to hang up on all that stuff, and that's fine.
Okay.
I'm still
what
enjoying
about just, oh, look, I get, especially if
but
it's
I could probably go your direction and try to get the body work to get that same pump, get that same snap again.
I'd be more worried about just your day-to-day existing is why I would want you to get adjusted. I would want you you're saying your neck leans to one side?
Yeah, it kind of like, I gotta always feel like I always gotta release it. It sucks. I could
be wrong, but I think you can see somebody.
Let's put it this way: if you're over here and you call my name.
Oh, I know, dude. I've seen you on the road. I call out to you and you're crossing the ramp walking.
Yeah.
And you look up. If it's that side, you have to.
Yeah, but I don't even know that anymore. That's what I'm saying. Like that's my normal. I'm used to it. It's fine with me. Okay. But I hear people say a lot, like, something wrong with your neck. I'm like, yeah.
And you're not
something wrong with my neck. 40 years of whiplash. What's wrong with my neck?
But you could get it.
I do get it worked on. I'm not ignoring all that. I get it worked on. I get body work,
and it does help.
It does make it like looser, but then something will happen. Like, I gotta drive to LA twice in a week, and then I'm just like, oh, get all stiff again. It's constant, yeah. But
you've got to do these stupid exercises.
Like, especially if I have a hard session, or if I have, if I did get loose for something, if I'm going to try to shoot video or something, and then I had a really hard session. I've never done any post work like that, but now thanks to you, I got the plunge, and we have a sauna. And I mean, that is really my first dive into any sort of like post-workout body work type of stuff. And I've never been one to do that. But for sure it helps.
Yes, it does. There's a few things out there you'd be surprised that help you, Tony. I know. Like the lady that's working on me when she's like, "You're this and this is that and this is that," and I was like, "Look, we're not all, paying attention to our bodies as much as some people." I was like, I got a friend.
Did you say that?
Yeah, fuck it. whose neck doesn't work, and he's like, "Yeah," and then I was like, "You should do cold plunge." You're like, "What's that?" I'm like, "What do you mean? What's that?" And then this guy goes, "Yeah, my wife said that I should probably take that deal and get a cold plunge." I'm like, "No, you should have made that decision, but you don't know what a cold plunge is." And at your level and your age, to be as good as you are at sport, and to be like,
it's hard to click into a mode. It's hard to click into a mode where it's like, all right, I gotta work at this in terms of working out my body.
Yeah.
That has never been something I've done. I never stretched.
Yeah.
I never, and people always say like, wait, and I just like, I don't know. I know how my body works. I drop in, I do a few tricks that I know.
You warm up on the street course first. That's your thing.
Yeah, for a little bit.
But you have to do that before you go to the.
I don't have to.
Oh, okay. Sometimes you just get on the ramp.
I just do it, yeah, just to get my legs moving. But
okay.
But a lot of times, if I drop in, there's a few key tricks that I'll do on my warm up run, and that lets me know, oh, you're stiff, like, or you got to work on this a little bit.
Yeah.
And then that's in my mind during the session is like, oh, you better get that a little better.
Oh, wow.
It's hard to explain. It's
subtle, I get it
for sure. But sometimes I'll drop in and I'm like, oh, it's on. Like I'm on point.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So you assess yourself.
Yes.
With that ride.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly.
But it's a warm up at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
I've got basically 2 to 3 runs that I know I'm going to hit certain tricks right when I start skating that I know are allowing me to assess how the session's going to go or if I need to work extra hard on that session.
Okay. Look, it's obviously working for you.
It's not some great secret. I'm just telling you.
No, you have no mystery to your athletic.
I'm just telling you my process.
I don't quite get it because it works out.
If I can do a cab on my second or third run and I feel good about it, the session's going to be good.
Oh, okay.
If I feel like I'm flapping a little bit or it's a little sketchy or I'm like kind of kick turning out of it, then I got to work on it. I mean, that's not the only trick, but that's one of them.
I used to have a warm-up routine when I got on the ramp, like the same slides. I did the same slides a bunch of around the ramp all different ways, and I felt like that was, because I would definitely get into some contortive positions with my legs while doing these slides, and I felt like that was my stretch. Like, was it like the stock thing where you're touching your toes and bringing your leg up? No, but...
That was my stretch, yeah. But also, when I would go on tour, I had a warm-up run. Andy McDonald still gives me shit about it because he remembers it. I had a warm-up run, and that wasn't like I was much looser back then, so I wasn't worried about the stretch. It was more like, what is this ramp like?
Yeah.
And so I would do the exact same warm-up run to figure out the ramp and what spots of the ramp are good, or what spots are oververt or undervert.
Yeah.
And it's funny to think about now because I've totally let that go.
Because you have your ramp, and if
I have my ramp, but also if I go to a new ramp, I just feel like I'm so out of my element that I gotta like chill, do a couple of super basic tricks just to figure it out. I'm totally spoiled by my ramp. It's like it's a problem.
Right. You guys were always, that was half the thing too, when you come to Australia and skate things that I grew up skating, and I was like, this thing's a piece of shit. It takes time to get to know this thing, and then you do like a couple of tricks that no one had done yet in the first 15 minutes, and we were just like, what is this? How is
But it was because we were on the road and we were forced to just get used to everything. A lot of that, really. It wasn't because we were home working on stuff. That would kind of that would be a problem for us. But because we were on the road and it was just like, here's your ramp.
Right. And they were all very odd.
Here's your crowd.
They're a little bit more the same everywhere you go these days. Back then there was like, you got a vert demo, and it'd be like, I'm like, that's not
I got to say, I remember probably the worst vert ramp that I skated in that time frame in those tours was in Adelaide.
Was it a one that was there permanent?
I think so.
Okay.
It was basically flat bottom, and then the wall started here. Like there was no transition. Do you know what I mean? It was like it was like they put a transition thing in, but
was it concrete?
They forgot to finish the transition.
Yeah. Was it concrete?
I don't think so.
Oh wow.
But even that, like the transition, it was a small ramp anyway. This was super tight, so you would and then all of a sudden you're up in a vert. It was almost like you were just being enclosed in a vert ramp. And I remember doing something pretty basic and just slamming into the next wall.
Right.
And I remember Lance saying, I watched that happen in slow motion, and I watched you thinking to yourself, I cannot believe I'm going to slam into the wall right now. He's like, that's how bad it is. I watched your whole thought process and your body just go, no.
Okay. I got one. I did a tour in Tasmania, the little dot at the bottom of Australia. You've been there.
Yeah.
Wow.
I went with Frankie Hill and Bucky.
Oh, that's a way better team. You guys probably could have done something where I was. So it's me by myself. And they're like, you're doing this demo at a pool, a big bowl. And I was like, cool, no problem. And they drive me there, and I get there, and it's a big crowd around this bowl. I'm like, whoa, big crowd. I'm like, who else is coming? It's like, you. I'm like, whoa, man, this is a gnarly demo. I can't see the bowl because the crowd's so big. I get there, and it's like, it's a pool of sorts, and the cement, when they built it, fell to the bottom. So it's like 2 foot transition and like 5 feet of vert all the way around it. It's unrideable. It's unrideable.
Has anyone skated it?
Yeah, people skate it, but they don't do stuff on the top of it.
I see.
But people were there saying McTwist.
Oh,
and I was like,
shoot.
Do you
Welcome
guys,
to my world.
This is so I drop in and I go, and I do a kick turn, and they're like, "The fuck's what we all come here for?" I'm like, and then someone's like, 540, and I'm like, 540 in here. Has anyone ever done it? Nah, mate, you'd be the first. I'm like, you're fucking damn right, I'd be the first. And then I remember, trying to skate for like half an hour by myself. No one would even drop in.
Did they even cheer?
Yeah, if I grinded it and someone cheered. But I was just like, this is insane. You all came here. There's a skateboard shop that was like, we'll bring Ellis to this and he'll put on a hell of a show. And you sell skateboards.
Yeah.
It just didn't. And then the guy that was escorting me around he had those blue moccasins on, and it was the first person I've ever seen that had a Slayer tattoo on his forearm. And I remember thinking, this guy has no life. Like he's probably like got drugs in his pocket. Like this guy scares the shit out of me. And he was my designated driver.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Tasmania was a scary place for me. I got the
I remember we skated jump ramps in Tasmania and had the biggest crowd for jump ramps I've
I would
ever
have
seen.
way rather a jump ramp at that demo. That would have really helped me. I stayed at a dad's house who was a drunk chef. So the kid is like, he loves Jason Ellis. So can Jason stay at my house, Dad? Because this is the kind of tour I'm on. And I'm like, yeah. And now the dad's super drunk and he's like questioning me about like skateboarding for a living and how do you really think that's going to go later on in your life? And I'm and I'm looking at the kid like,
you set me up.
I am about to tell your dad to fuck off. Like, you know what I mean? Because he's drunk as well. And I was like, I'm going to go to bed and like, sleeping and stuff like, and I'm sleeping. I'm like a toy. The kid's got me in his room and I'm just like, good night, Jason Ellis. I'm like, man, fuck this. I'd rather sleep with the Slayer guy.
So your experience, especially with the 540, that was my experience on Bones Brigade tours all through the 80s. McTwist! To the point where I had to learn a McTwist on the Bones Brigade mini ramp.
I remember you doing that.
Yeah, because that's all I would hear. I was like, all right, I'm just going to learn how to do a 540 on this thing. And then fast forward 15 years, it was 900 on everything.
Yeah.
900.
Anywhere.
So, but I had a similar experience to that, not as bad, obviously, but a few years ago, we went to South Africa to go to the Skateistan
Yep.
opening in Johannesburg,
Okay.
and to go, to basically just to raise awareness and to do the ribbon cutting and everything, because Skatistan's amazing, right?
Yeah.
Their projects are awesome, and we took a couple of the kids there, and then I thought, what a waste to go to South Africa. I haven't been there in, I don't know, 10 years, to go there and not do some sort of public exhibition.
Yeah.
So we like scrambled to set up a public exhibition, got a random sponsor from some social media network there, and we said, okay, we're coming. And then I got a couple of Birdhouse guys to come, and we went to the Germiston skate park, which is basically a snake run with the craziest. It's still there, so people in South Africa are like, yeah. Like the walls are this tall, totally vert. It comes out and then it empties into a bowl, but the bowl is only a half sphere, right, of the bowl.
Was this originally made for skateboarding?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and if you see picture, you look it up, like Germiston, Tony Hawk, you'll see it. It was madness because we couldn't actually, I never been there. They just said that's the only place that will, basically host us.
Yeah.
It's a public skate park, but we couldn't see the park at all because there were just people everywhere.
How many people?
Thousands. 5,000 maybe? 4,000?
So just a sea of people around
Sea of
this
people.
thing.
I mean, at least 3,000 or 4,000.
And they've never seen a pro skateboarder in real life. Nobody. Right? You'd be the first person ever be in the country to do a demo.
Right. So,
but they've seen the internet
and they
know that you do 900s.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't get I'm sure people said it. I just tune it out now. But but the cool thing is that it was this half. So picture a half bowl like this, and then it just ends, right? Because the extensions go down and then it goes into the snake run. So there's not some gradual way that you can skate the bowl. So you either skate the snake run, hit the face wall, or you get the very corners to ride it like a half pipe.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And the other thing is there's this strip that's basically like a rumble strip across right where the flat meets the wall.
Why?
That kills all your speed. For whatever reason, however they did it, there's just this patch of concrete that is super rough. So you like, right? But in the very last, I don't know why I'm going so into the weeds here, but in the very last 2 feet or so of the edge of where I'm saying the end of this bowl is, there's no rumble strip.
Oh, so you're riding
So if you hug the edge,
dude.
you can do half pipe runs. It was so hard. It was so hard.
But you went for it.
Oh yeah, we went hard.
Like you went.
We got some goods. Like we were doing airs and stuff like that. But
And
then
everything
if you got out of the zone and you try to get speed, you hit the rumble strip, then you start to fall forward because your board is just almost coming to a stop. But I remember this because I was like, all right, I'm gonna do a McTwist. Like I'm gonna do a McTwist because it was steep enough, big enough.
Right. And I know enough about if you're a skateboarder and you're a pro and a pro comes to your town, the first McTwist to ever be done in your country, it's a festivity.
Yeah.
It's very exciting.
And we I had a good let's see, who else was there? Sorry, my mind's a blank. Sean Hale was there, David Loy was there. I think Jaws was there. So we had a good crew. Like they were excited, and they were all doing some super sick stuff, mostly on the face wall. But then I just thought, all right, this is too crazy. I'm gonna do McTwist. So I start to get some airs, but I got to stay in that little zone to get speed.
So sketchy.
Right when I go up to try to like get enough speed, I hit the rumble strip, and then still was like, I got it, and it screwed up my timing. Went to McTwist, bounced off the coping on my shins. I mean, like all weight, all impact on my shin, and then bounced in, and I just knew it immediately. I was like my shin is split open for sure.
Yeah.
Right. And so I check it. It's just, wide open, like horror movie style.
So you're bleeding everywhere.
I'm bleeding, but at the same time, I'm not going to just be like, I'm out.
You're going to make a McTwist.
No, I couldn't. I knew then, like, the twist is out of the question. It was just impossible to stay in that little death zone to try to spin it. And also, like, because it's a bowl, if you start to carve it all, the curve is going to sneak up on you, hang out, whatever.
So sketchy.
It was whatever.
You're going for it.
I was going for it. So I go to the end of the bowl, or go to the end of the snake run where the other guys are starting, get all the speed, and then do a front flip out at the end.
Nice.
Like ender, shin still intact. And then luckily, because of the way the snake run was, it was this perfect sort of tunnel exit to get away from the crowd. Because the whole crowd was around the bowl. And a lot of times, especially in that scenario, because I'm already bleeding, I don't want to look like a dick and not stop and sign autographs and stuff, but I was in medical need.
Right. You needed stitches.
I needed stitches. And so I dropped it. I did the flip out, dropped in, skated through the snake run, and then to the car. And I told my wife and our kids, like, hey, you guys, after this, like, be in the car.
Oh, it's like that.
Yeah, it's like that. Like, this is the escape route. This is what's happening. We're out here. And it worked. But and then I went to, and then the pharmacies there do not have the same stuff that we have. So trying to get steri strips was so hard.
So you didn't get it stitched?
No, I knew I could tape it up.
Okay.
Perlman went out and got, Stephen Perlman?
Yeah.
He was our tour manager back then. He actually set up the whole demo. To his credit, like, on a whim, he set up this giant public demo.
That's pretty awesome.
And got a sponsor for it. Like, that was really impressive. He works for USA Skiing now. But so he went, I sent him to get steri strips, and I'll never forget when he finally returned, he's like, do you understand this was one of the hardest missions I've ever been on? To get,
he's been on some missions.
And he's been on some missions, yeah. And he did find them. And I closed it up, went on with my day.
You got some disgusting shins, you know that?
You want to see them?
I mean, they're disgusting, you guys.
What's that?
Like, they're just ugly. Look at that. Like, look at that.
But look at it's all healed.
It's disgusting.
This one that goes all the way down to my sock was from the Flow Rider.
Man, that looks like the amount of.
The one that I got. Oh, I think it was like this.
It looks like a shark attack.
What's that? The one that I got.
God!
That is right here. That's from Germiston.
Yeah.
Because that one like hit up high.
Your other leg is way worse though.
I know.
But that's still pretty hideous.
Because this is my foot that I take bales with. So that's the first foot down. And if it gets tangled on my board, it's all mostly from grip tape. So like if I kick my board away and it gets tangled under my feet, that foot goes down first and then it gets the grip tape.
Do you think you have so much scar tissue that when you bump it cuts easier?
Always.
All right. Because there's a surgery
I bumped into a chair on our during our Halloween party.
Yeah. And you're bleeding everywhere.
But it just lingered for like 2 weeks. It was just like a cut. Like I just bumped into it. I didn't even scrape it.
MMA guys get those cut out because they have it on their face so much that they get the scar tissue cut out so that they don't cut so easy. Because some people,
it gets replaced with something.
I don't know how they do it, but I have a couple of friends that they get the scar tissue cut out so that way scar tissue cut out and have their bone rounded on the side because some people have sharper skull shapes than others. And the doctor
so that doesn't,
because it's the impact on the blade.
Well, I mean, that's why I have all these scars right here.
Yeah, you hit your head, you've hit your face a few times.
Yeah.
Good for you, Tony.
Yay.
That makes me feel good because I did that the other day and I figured you'd never done it, but you do a lot, stupid. What's up with you?
I've done it quite a few times.
Right? You really have.
Yeah.
It's quite a thing for you.
I did actually have one time I hit my shin on a bench. I remember went in to get stitches. This is when I was younger. And the doctor stuck his finger into my cut and then got to my bone to feel if I chipped my bone.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm just feeling your bone. And then I go, well, you can feel it. He's like, you can see it right here. He takes his finger out and he's like, there's your bone. Oh, cool.
I remember one time I was skateboarding on the street in front of a vert ramp and I did a backside 180 up onto the sidewalk and I was about to do a switch 180 and I was looking down and then out of the corner of my eye, I saw the pole and I was like, oh no, a pole. And went like that and jumped in front of the pole and my foot flicked up and there was just some bracket welded on the side of the pole and my shin just goes, Wah! And I'm stuck on it.
Oh my God.
So I have to pull my leg off the pole and it's like a bracket that's pretty wide. So it just made a sweet just slot up against the side of my shin. So I go to the hospital. They're like, whoa, blood everywhere. And they go, we're going to, get this in here. And they got nurses trying to put, what's the things you toss salads with? the
Tongs?
plastic
Oh,
tongs.
to hold it together.
So I'm watching this lady put tongs in the hole, then other tongs in the hole, and start pulling it together
so that they can stitch it up.
So he starts stitching it.
Yep.
She pulls the tongue out, and it goes ping, ping, ping.
And after the stitches were in,
and he goes, "Oh shit!" And I'm like, "Oh shit!" And then they go back in with the salad tossers, pull it back in. Now he's doing stitches from way back over here, and I'm like, maybe I'm gonna puke on myself. So disgusting.
Now we're just going tit for tat. Okay, so
mine are all covered now, but trust me, they're bad.
I got another time. I went to this urgent care because I ripped my shin open. Oh, it was when I first tried the loop. I scraped my shin on the edge of the loop, and I went to urgent care to get it taken care of. And I would go to this one urgent care that was kind of close to my house, and so the doctor had given me stitches a couple times, maybe 2 or 3 times, and I go there and he's like, I can't, there's no more skin. It wasn't even like getting the tongs. It was just like, I can't do anything for you. Like, what, there's no more. And I was like, yeah, I know, but can you just, and so he did it begrudgingly, like mad at me while he's closing my shin up.
Yeah.
And then he's going to get paid for it, obviously.
Yeah.
But it was like that scenario, but imagine those nurses and that doctor are mad at you.
Oh, they were, I can. They were.
Oh, they were?
Yeah. I've offended so many doctors from being hurt. It's kind of bullshit.
But I remember feeling guilty. And
Not
I just
me.
thought, I'm sorry, I don't know what to say. I just need this fixed up.
No, I was a full asshole. I remember the broken wrist one, and they had the thing, and I cut the cast off here, and then I slammed and smashed the pin out. And when I got there, he sees that I've cut my cast off and that the pin's hanging out. He was very mad. And I remember thinking, just give me some painkillers and I don't care about you, dude. You know what I mean? Like, I'm surviving over here. Like, you don't understand skateboard contests and how much they mean to me. Like, yes, I had to get that off. How else do I grab Indy? Like, I didn't care if he didn't understand.
Yeah, that was my doctor. It was more that it wasn't like I was apologetic. It was just more that, well, I guess I got to find someone else if this happens again.
Right.
Because this guy is going to turn me away.
Yeah, and you're going to be back.
Oh, I'm going to be back.
Yeah.
Well, no, but I figured out how to do it myself after that.
No.
I mean, just in terms of like what requires stitches and what doesn't.
Oh, okay.
I had a better gauge of that, and that I could do it with steri strips, and I could cover myself. And
have you ever tried stitches without the needle before it?
Wait, what?
You know how they give you the numbing needle before stitches?
Oh yeah,
And
without it, yeah, because I don't feel my shins. I don't need the numbing needle.
Whoa! I said to the guy, hey, I'm sick of that needle thing. It hurts too much. Just give me the stitches. He's like, oh, yeah? And I was like, yeah. Why? Is that crazy? He's like, let me see. I'll just do one and we'll see how you feel.
Yeah, but you're saying it's going way on the outside.
I fuck really hurt. I was like, give me the needle.
Yeah, my shins they're so destroyed. I don't really feel them. That's the thing though. Is I only sense impact on them.
Right.
So I don't know the severity of it until I look at it.
You should be a Muay Thai fighter. You'd be excellent.
Cool.
We'll do that next week.
All right.
We got to go. That was a long show. You're welcome, everybody. We can't stop.
Like and inscribe.
You're awesome at that. See you next week.